You hitting it or you want me to? Okay. You're live.
Because we live, bitches.
Coming soon to this theater.
Yeah.
It's alive. It's moving. It's coming this way.
What up, everybody? Welcome to CG Horror Movie Club, the club where we talk about, surprise, shocker, horror movies. Tonight we are going to be talking about a personal favorite of mine, which is 1935's Bride of Frankenstein, the sequel to 1932's Frankenstein by James Whale. But anyway, first and foremost, let's introduce my co-host. First of all, we got my boy, your boy, definitely your boy. That's without question. Matt Butch Cleaver Bird. What up, man?
What's up, guys? How you doing? Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Sorry I missed your stream before, man.
Oh, it's all
We
good.
did not get any notifications at all, bro. I did not get a notification. He didn't. We're trying to find your channel. We can't find your channel. What the hell happened to your channel, bro?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll work out the kinks, but I just been
Yeah,
having like
send us the link again so we can make sure we're subbed and didn't get like bumped or something, because I didn't get no notification at all. I even went looking at 6 o'clock. Where's Matt?
Crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I got that message like I got your link like kind of late, and I've been just having like a crazy kind of fucking day. So I apologize. And speaking of apologies, the guy who should just apologize just for existing, Pops, what's up, brother?
It's my fucking fault, dude.
That's all. Everything.
I will take it on, man. I'll take the blame for everything. No, just so everybody knows, 8 destinations, people. This thing is on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all over the freaking place. And we're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. So roll with it.
Yeah, like the blob.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just going to
be consuming people. Yeah.
Just gobbling them up and just increasing our gelatinous mass.
It's a horror club. What can I tell you?
Oh, man.
What's up, Simon?
Woo.
Simon in the chat.
Simon in the chat. What up, Simon? Yo to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Like I said tonight, we were talking about a personal favorite of mine, Bride of Frankenstein from 1935. If you've never seen it before, link should be down in the description. It is on Tubi. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to get to this movie is, first of all, it's a movie I watch every October. It's on my Halloween playlist, you know, right alongside Abbott and Costello, Frankenstein, Mad Monster Party. And it's one of those pictures where if you haven't seen it and you're a horror fan, you owe it to yourself to see it. I can't guarantee that you're going to like it. I can't guarantee that you're going to like anything. But I personally think that this is an incredibly special film, and I'm not alone in thinking that. It is widely regarded by critics and fans alike as really the pinnacle of the Universal Studios, Universal Monsters cycle of films. And there's a lot of great movies in there, so I think that that's saying something. Real quick, Weekend Horror. Have you guys seen Terrifier 2 yet?
No, I wish. I've been a little under the weather the last few days, to be honest. But yeah, I'd love to go and see that movie. I did watch. We did the first one last week, but yeah.
Yeah,
you see it?
No, no. I have it. I have access to it, but I haven't watched it yet because it's like 2.5 hours long.
Shit, that's epic. That's like Rob Zombie status right there. That's crazy.
Well,
that's like him in his Halloween movie.
Oh my god, that's not
That's how
necessarily
that's how long
a good
it was.
sign. Really?
Yeah,
Now I have another reason for not watching Rob Zombie's Halloween. Fuck that shit.
Because it's the whole origin of Michael Myers. His dad's William Forsythe, and he's like, oh, crazy.
Oh god.
So you haven't seen it yet?
No. Here's the thing. It's like I love the fact that we're living in an age when movies can be 3 hours long, right?
Yeah.
Because very often you had films where you're like, oh, if they just given this a little bit more room to breathe, it would have been 100 times better. Right. So we've gotten a lot of truncated films as a result of that, 90 minutes to a 2 hour standard running time. Now it's like 2 hours to 3 hours. Right. And not every movie should be fucking 2.5, 3 hours long.
No.
And that's what worries me is, you look at something like The Raid, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Which is like an awesome movie. One of the things that makes it so awesome is how lean it is. Mm-hmm. It's like 90 minutes, no fat.
Right.
It's just completely pared down. And then there's The Raid 2, which is like 2.5 hours long, and it's just like just filler, and it's not. And I mean that it's just filler, which is to say, this is the same fucking story we've heard 100,000 times before. There's nothing new here. Get to the damn fights.
It ain't The Dark Knight. That's what you're saying.
Yes. There's no, or Lawrence of Arabia, or Spartacus.
I just feel like when The Dark Knight came out, every fucking sequel and a lot of movies were like, let's make The Dark Knight. And you even like, just in media, like across different platforms, you hear that James Newton Howard like theme-esque of The Dark Knight, like that dun, 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 dun. Like you just hear those cues like in different things, like it just steamrolled that. But going back to the longevity, the Batman, that movie was way too long. It was 3 hours long.
Yes.
It should have been trimmed up. You watched it, right?
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it, but it could have lost a half an hour.
Easily.
Right? And the Snyder cut of Justice League is 4 hours long. That could have lost an hour.
I agree with you too on that one. For me, it was a little too long. Well, for me, like I'm gonna keep it real simple. For me, all I wanted in that movie, because I'm basic Burke, I like the fights. I wanted more Batman fighting, and I didn't get none of that. You know what I mean? They got a little more or less Tony Starkian Ben Affleck, but he wasn't fighting. If you see the end of Batman vs Superman, he goes in the warehouse to save Superman's mother. He's destroying people
demolishes
Arkham style, and like
that's
like the tone setter. That's after that.
That's the best. And I always looked at the Arkham games and thought, why don't they do that?
Yeah, it's the best iteration of Batman ever. In my humble opinion.
Well, certainly with the fight scenes, right? I mean, you want to see Bats whipping some ass, and then Batfleck is the most ruthless Batman ever.
Yeah.
Right.
And I heard he might have signed up for three more movies, so that was pretty.
Sounds
like
dude.
fun.
I'm trying to watch it on my TV, Mrs. Good Stuff. That's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get the show on my TV.
Must see TV.
What up? What up? Mrs. Good Stuff. Say yo to Mr. Good Stuff for us, and Noble Comics.
Hail the good stuff.
There's a lot of meandering in the Batman. Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
Not even going to attempt a Snyder cut. I would, but you don't have to sit down and watch it like as a 4 hour movie. I sat down and watched it as two hour movies.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I especially the last hour of that movie, I was grinning like an idiot.
I broke it up over 4 days, to be honest. I think it was 3 or 4 days, but I enjoyed it, and I like wanted more.
It's the last time, it was the first time in a long time that I found myself actually losing myself in a superhero movie.
Right. Yeah, and he had a lot of lore in there too, like a lot of the old like Kirby stuff, like Granny was in there. And I've seen Darkseid. I like his version of fucking Steppenwolf, which is better than the comic. I think what Snyder did. Like there's a lot of stuff Snyder did. Everyone hates on Snyder for multiple reasons, but I like his movies. I don't give a fuck. I actually like most of his movies. I'm not a big fan of the Guardians of Ga'Hoole and the Sucker Punch is all right, but it's just like, but I like 300. I thought the Watchmen was cool.
Army of Dead. Army of the Dead is hot garbage. Dawn of the Dead.
Didn't see that.
Dawn of the Dead remake is good.
Dawn of the Dead's
good. 300 is really good.
Love that. I think that's his best movie.
Watchmen is very loyal to the comic, and it improves on the ending, but it's curiously bloodless. I feel like it's there's something very phoned in about it. Like I'm like, where's the director?
Like they were being too nice.
No, that's not it. That's not it. Like there was a certain personality that was just wasn't there. There was something missing. That's why I refer to it as bloodless or anemic. There's this, it lacked that vital spark.
Right.
And
I hear you.
Speaking of vital sparks, we're going to be talking a lot about vital sparks tonight since we're doing Bride of Frankenstein. But the Watchmen movie I think technically very well made, but it left me cold, and that's why I always don't think of Zack Snyder as an artist. I think of him as a visual stylist.
I think he's better with like a script. Like he can kick some fucking ass. Like you get a good writer. I think he's
better with Christopher Nolan. I think he's better with Christopher Nolan because I think that's why Christopher Nolan got him to do Man of Steel. He was just like, oh, this guy's a visual stylist. We'll use like his visual style, but kind of like hang over his shoulder. And then of course with Batman v Superman, that's when he was just cut loose to just do his own thing, and it was a fucking catastrophe. The 3-hour version is much better. Yeah,
with the freighter, the black freighter.
Yes.
I didn't watch it, but I wanted to. It's long, brother.
Yeah, no, I mean it just didn't ask for it, don't want it, don't need it. And I'm by no means a Zack Snyder stan at all. But the 3-hour version of Batman v Superman is a significant improvement. Still a lot of stuff wrong with that movie, but it's almost redeems that film.
Fuck Luthor. Fuck Doomsday. Doomsday is one of my favorite villains, and he's a basic fucking dude, and they fucking made him into a troll from Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. I got some good news for you though. Guess what I got in my email? I got free tickets to go see a free screening of Renfield on Thursday. It's like I got but I'm not gonna go watch it because just like I didn't go see the Demeter one either, But I want to. They'll probably be there too. The Nicolas Cage and shit over in Long Beach, I guess. I've been getting emails for 10 years. I just never go.
Ah, shit, dude. That's frustrating. I mean, I'm sure you got your reasons and stuff, but
I'm just kind of under the weather right now. I've been sleeping a lot every day, trying to get better.
That's always the best cure for sickness is sleep. Like if I have a cold or something like that, I'll just wake up after sleeping, pop a sleeping pill, go back to sleep.
Right.
Until I'm better. Pop says Laughing Rogue is making us our own Too Hot Madness sauce. Carolina Reapers. Oh shit, I ain't touching that shit.
Dude, he made a Path of the Pale sauce for Laurie's campaign.
Oh really? Oh wow.
I got some. And he goes, man, ghost peppers. You let me know what you think, Pops. And I was like, oh, it's not bad. It's pretty good. But more ghost peppers, bro. So he is taking it upon himself to try to bury me with heat. And he's coming at me with the Carolina Reapers, our own madness, Too Hot sauce.
Wow.
Get ready, guys. We're going all over the place, man. I don't even here's the problem with food that's too damn hot. It burns on the way in, it burns on the way out. I'm not into it. If it's so hot I can't taste the food.
Yeah, it's too hot.
If I'm just in physical pain.
Yeah.
Then I'm just
I've never been like that. So
oh, you're immune. That's what you're saying.
Kind of. I don't know. I mean, 35 years in Arizona, and it's like almost every day there was some form of salsa, hot sauce, something in something.
Right.
I mean, have there been times when I've blown my ass out and it was hot? Yeah, but it was still worth the meal.
Yeah, I hear you. I know. You just pay for it. That's all.
Yeah, some things are worth the consequences, right? You know.
Sim says they mentioned Doomsday. That one was another, like Luther is supposed to be the son of the actual Luther or a clone. Yeah, retcon that shit.
Red clone.
Yeah. I mean, Batman v Superman. I walked out of that movie thinking, okay, time to hit the reset button. Like that, I thought it was that catastrophic. I was like, that's it. Boop. Start over again. Even though I really like Batfleck and of course Henry. And Henry, of course, we got the news. Henry finally officially back after years of being cock-blocked. Because for some reason in Hollywood, they do not like that guy.
They don't, dude. They were trying to go, I guess The Rock. I saw a red carpet interview with him. He was saying that he was working for 6 years and then the old management wouldn't let it get done. But now they're gone. Walter Hamada and some other bitch. And now they got in Zaslav and he's going in there fucking everybody up. Canceling movies.
The theory is that, this is the theory that I favor, that they don't like him because he refuses to get political. So, and since he refuses to get political, that means that he's a right-winger, a secret right-winger. And also, he dated Gina Carano.
Right. So
I think there's guilt by association there. That's my theory, because they hate him the way that they hate...
Nobody wants to be used. They just want to use it. They just want to take these people and make them into figureheads for their agenda. And, hey, I don't care how much money you throw at me. I'm still going to be me.
That's essential.
Oh, yeah, of course. It is.
That one's way better. You get Clark Kent fucking being an investigative reporter in there. Again, for me, the only thing... You get Clark Kent. And the only thing I didn't like about that movie, again, was Lex Luthor. I actually like him at the end of... I forgot what fucking movie it was where he's got his bald head and he's on a yacht and you got Joe Manganiello coming up as Deathstroke.
Yeah, that was better.
Then I was like, all right, cool. I can accept that.
Damage control.
That in the Doomsday just pissed me off. I got so mad when I seen that Doomsday.
Yeah.
I love Doomsday. I love his suit. I love the entrance where he's like punching through the what I mean? And just slowly like ripping away,
Yeah, but the fight is whack. And
it is.
Final thought on the Batman versus Superman extended edition. It is way better. It is way better. The main thing that it fixed for me was that it explains why Batman is a killer. Right? Because when I saw the theatrical version, the moment I saw him kill somebody, I was like, okay, that's it. I'm out. Like, just mentally, I was out. I was like, this movie just lost me. Really? And yes. And so I was like, okay. Then I watched the 3-hour version and I was like, oh, now I get it. Now I get the concept. Yeah. Which is, right, like multiverse style shit where this is a fallen Batman. This is Batman after Robin gets killed by the Joker. So he's like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care anymore. And I'm not pulling my punches and you all can die as far as I'm concerned. The story is about him getting his faith back.
Yeah,
so that
it is.
And he's not that Batman anymore.
No.
So I mean, it's a major improvement. There are things I really like about it. It is worth seeing for the great parts, but it's still a colossal bungle. Jeff, what's up, brother?
What's up, man?
You would not believe the retarded time I had getting on here. My phone's got all my autosave passwords and all that stuff. I had to go into Google Chrome, which I hate doing, to get my passwords. But for some reason, my password for Google doesn't work. So I finally figured out, how it always happens when you're trying to do all this stuff and then you got to take a piss. And that's, cherry on top. So I finally got it sent to my mail from my other mail, and I am here.
Nice.
Yes, that's what I think.
Did all of you fellows watch tonight's movie, The Bride of Frankenstein?
Yes, I did.
Excellent. Because I hate to be having a conversation with myself. Exactly. And Superman gave him hope again. Exactly. It's kind of like in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. He starts out as a killer, and then at the end of the movie, Kingpin's like, well, why don't you kill me? Because I'm not the bad guy.
Yeah.
Church.
The things I like, I took notes, but something happened and they went away. But one of the things I really liked was that servant lady. You know, she was just like, you know,
Udo
when
O'Connor?
she tried to act like freaked out by seeing Frankenstein,
Yes.
or like you know, the gag where they lead him, like she pulls out, the other lady pulls out what she thinks is her husband. You know, these people, and all you gotta do is
There's a lot of comedy. There's a lot of comedy.
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's almost like they were prophesying the advent of the television evangelist, because all he has to do to kill anybody is just tap them on the head and they fall over.
Right. Yeah.
The one thing I really liked was, like, you know, not more than once was "Shut up, woman," like, or how they like they thought he was. I could go on. They thought he was dead. He turns out to just be unconscious. He wakes up, and then just like a half hour later, this guy comes in and goes, "Woman, leave. I need to talk to your husband. We're gonna go." And they cut straight to the carriage. Goes right through all the whole. But you almost died. I love you. You should really get back in bed. You know, it's like, we're just gonna do our thing.
Yeah. That scene that you were mentioning before is with Una O'Connor. Okay. And there's a movie, a really fantastic movie with Brendan Fraser and Magneto from the X-Men movies.
Oh, okay.
Somebody help me.
Gods and Monsters?
Yes. Anyway, he plays the guy plays Gandalf. He plays James Whale in that, because the movie is about the last days and the life of James Whale.
Motherfucker!
What? Pops, what are you doing?
Oh!
You're fucking up my stream, bro.
Oh!
There we go. I just muted Pops. God damn it. In Gods and Monsters, they show James Whale watching Bride of Frankenstein on television with his housekeeper, and when they're watching that scene, he starts cracking up. He's like, "Oh, good old Una, clucking like a chicken."
Yeah. Una.
Yes, and you know what? Let's to get things rolling, let's take a look at the trailer, because. Nice. Yeah. Now, obviously, folks, I'm going to have to stop these clips periodically so that we don't get yanked off the
tubes of you.
Yes, off the tubes of you. And let's see. Do I even have the trailer here? Wait a second. Why am I asking you guys? I shouldn't be asking you guys.
What?
Let's see. No, I don't. But I do have some other videos that I'm going to be able to play, and there's no better place to start than with the beginning. The film opens up, and it's really a interesting, to say the least, introduction, because you're expecting to be dropped into a horror film, and instead you are dropped into the Via Diodati in 1960.
Again, dude. I just got bit by my dog again, dude.
Again?
Yeah. That's what I yelled. He come up and he bit me. I'm like, "Hey, motherfucker, dude."
I had to put him down.
No, I can't put him down. He's a good dog. He's just a dumbass sometimes, man.
He's a dog.
Yeah. I'm not walking my dogs anymore. They brought me to my knees for the second and last time.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Like yanking you around?
Yeah. All they had to do was find another dog and ruin another pair of jeans. I mean, you guys, I can't afford to train you. Yeah. In front of the neighbors.
Oh, even worse. Yeah. Well, at least it wasn't in front of like some hot chick that you like have a thing for.
Right.
You gotta look at the the
silver lining.
The glass is half full.
There
it is. Okay.
And the philosopher says, "What glass?" Oh, that's good.
Right.
The engineer says the glass is always full.
Yes. So anyway, when the film opens, it opens in the Via Diodato, I'm sorry, Via Diodati, which is the Via in Switzerland, right off of Lake Geneva, where very famously on a stormy night in 1816, the people who were leasing the place for that summer were inspired by the storm. Now, the person who was actually leasing the place was none other than Lord Gordon George Byron.
Yeah, man.
Mad, bad, and dangerous to know.
Right.
Who had basically been run out of England because of his
fight with the other dog. This is
okay. I'll right back. Give me just a sec.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that dude's like a real dude, like a historical dude.
Yeah. So Lord Byron in real life had Mary Shelley and Percy Shelley. Percy Shelley was a writer, and Mary Shelley would go on to write Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. A lot of people believe that he took credit for the book, but that night allegedly they went off to write different stories and short stories, but she came back with this big old Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
From what I gather, from what I remember. What up, Sim?
What's up?
How you doing, brother? You know about this a little bit too, right? About the evening with Lord Byron, possibly.
The evening with Lord Byron.
This night that they've got here,
where Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein. You ever hear about that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
There's a movie about that, though, wasn't there?
Probably. I thought
you were talking about a specific movie. I know about the guy. I know about the story. I just if there's a movie, I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it either. I thought it was cool though how they kind of included this part into this movie, and I think that they used the Bride of Frankenstein, the same actors, to play Mary Shelley. They look the same. I think it's
they
think
did.
you're right.
I thought that her teeth looked different. I don't know why that stuck out, but like the Bride of Frankenstein has better teeth than Mary Shelley.
Maybe she's wearing dentures or something.
Yeah, I don't know. But this dude, I was listening to him talk, and I'm like, he's standing there like this. I'm like, he's like getting ready to be painted like the whole time.
Like a Rembrandt.
Ugh.
But that was a lot of the acting of back then. It's what they call like Shakespearean or whatever. Like it's always like type of pose where they're just waiting to take a picture or a painting.
Yeah,
posers. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's where the posing comes from, because that's how they used to write memories. Like they used to have artists, sketch artists in the stand, and they would take like quick moments and just same thing for pictures. So you have to have that little freeze of a moment pose for people to take a picture or a quick draw, and that's how they used to advertise a lot of their stuff before.
That's cool, man.
That's really interesting.
I think it's crazy though how she wrote Frankenstein allegedly that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the further you go, the more interesting it gets. It's like if you go far enough, like theater, like before black and white movies and stuff like that, there was no woman acting.
Oh, yeah. I knew about that part, but I didn't know about the nuances. I took my microphone sock off the foam thing my dog chewed as soon as I took it out of the box. So do I sound weird?
You sound fine.
Okay.
The interesting thing about the Universal Dracula and Frankenstein is that they're not really based on the novels. They're based on the stage plays by John Balderston. And those plays were very, very popular, and Mary Shelley actually lived to be in the audience for a performance of Frankenstein, and said that she enjoyed it thoroughly.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, she took it as an adaptation in the right spirit.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. I just needed to kind of reset. So the movie opens 1816, Lake Geneva, the Via Diodati. And the person leasing it at the time, George Gordon Lord Byron, mad, bad, and dangerous to know. And his guests are Percy Shelley and his lovely young bride, although I don't think they were officially married at that time, Mary Shelley. And also John Polidori, who isn't in this scene, unfortunately, who was Byron's friend and doctor. What happened was there was a tumultuous storm, and they had been talking about German ghost stories, at a book of German ghost stories. And Gothic literature was just really starting to take off. The Castle of Otranto, which is what is widely considered as the first Gothic horror novel, had been released and done incredibly well. Its author, Horace Walpole, was like the first goth because he built a home for himself called Strawberry Hill, which was built as a ruin. That's to say, it was like a Gothic ruin. That was like that was new, but it was designed to look like it was old. And here's like the coolest, most badass, most pimpin' rock star thing of all. After he died, it collapsed.
Wow.
So, like, you know, I mean, obviously, one of the first places I would want to go if I were in England would be like Strawberry Hill. It's like, yeah, it collapsed like right after he died, like the fall of the House of Usher.
I was about to say it's like the fall of the House of Usher.
That's exactly what it's like, dude. It's exactly what it's like. So I mean, it's just like badass, even at death. It's like peace.
Hey, Brian, is that the bride right there? The same actress that playing Mary Shelley? Is she playing the bride too, bro?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I had to make sure because you're the computer, bro. Yep.
Yeah. When I was at university, I was an English lit major, and my focus was on, surprise, shocker, Gothic literature. And so I have read a lot about that night and what transpired on that night. There have also been a number of films that have come out about that night. There's one that was made, I think, in 1990 by Ken Russell, which is a lot of fun. It's called Gothic. And then also, I think that same year, there was another movie that was about that evening and about that whole summer, actually, called Haunted Summer. Anyway, what happened was that's
the one I was talking about. Sorry to interrupt, but that's the one I was talking about. Like, they go about like the whole storm, and if I'm not mistaken, were they not tripping? I mean,
not that we know of.
Okay.
Gothic,
probably, but not officially.
Slamming absinthe.
Slamming absinthe, smoking opium.
Probably, yeah.
You know, you're talking about Byron.
Possible.
Here. Byron was like, you know, like I said, Mad, Bad, and Dangerous to Know. He had a reputation for partying pretty hard and for being a bit of a sexual libertine. Now, of course, this is all stuff that today probably would be like considered mild behavior.
Just normal for some people.
For some people,
yeah,
right.
Party people. Yeah,
and you know, so he left because of a scandal, and then the Shelleys joined him because there was a scandal there because they weren't officially married yet, and except Percy was married to another woman, and they kind of like absconded together. So a lot of drama and bad news there. So when what happened that night was that they proposed, like, hey, why don't we each of us write a ghost story? And the thing that's really interesting is that two legends were born that night, and neither of them came from the actual writers, right? Percy and Byron, they didn't produce anything, right? They tried to write stories, they fizzled out, they had nothing. But their companions did. And Mary Shelley, of course, wrote Frankenstein, and John Polidori, Byron's friend and physician, wrote The Vampire, which was a big success and directly inspired Bram Stoker to write Dracula. So it's regarded as like a very important night in literary history. And actually,
yeah, and she ended up writing the first sci-fi horror ever.
Yep.
Ever.
Technically the
Ever.
first science fiction.
Yep.
Yes.
Sci-fi
Yes.
horror.
Yep. And isn't
Look at
it
those
interesting
windows.
that Yep. And remember too, they weren't setting out to write a science fiction story. They were setting out to write a horror story.
Yep.
Ghost, yeah.
Right? And there's been debate in academic circles. Of course, now there's no debate because you'd get canceled or even for suggesting such a thing. But a lot of people suggested that Shelley actually ghost wrote the novel for her and let her put her name on it, which is bullshit because that she had to put a male name on it just to get it published.
Right.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
Now, do I think Shelley had a major part? Do I think he was instrumental? Absolutely. I think she wrote the novel, but that he was her editor.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I
That
regard
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the person that she would pitch her ideas to.
Yeah, which would be an
At
editor.
least. Yeah, no. But
Yeah.
I mean, like your friend, like we all have a friend that we're like, hey, dude, I'm thinking of doing this. Like at least that, if not the official editor. But yeah.
Exactly. So let's take a look at this. Look at the scene, and also it's worth pointing out that Elsa Lanchester plays both Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley in this, and of course the bride of Frankenstein. It's one of the things I think that makes this movie so. It's one of many reasons this movie is so intriguing.
Yeah, in the credits, it was like, and the monsters play, or the bride is played by like question mark.
Yes. Yep. All right, let's take a quick peek here. Hopefully not get ganked. So
Not get what?
let's see.
Yanked.
Ganked.
Yanked.
You'll notice here that Karloff is simply presented as Karloff.
Yep.
Yes.
Sting, Madonna, Karloff.
Yep.
The car.
Colin Clive, of course, from the previous film as Dr. Frankenstein, Dr. Henry Frankenstein for some reason. Valerie Hobson as Elizabeth Frankenstein. Elsa Lanchester, of course, as both Mary Shelley and the Bride of Frankenstein. O.P. Heggie, he plays the blind man. And then, of course, you have Una O'Connor, who is our
Nagging.
our clown, our
Yes.
Shakespearean clown.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. I missed the... Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There we are. Yeah, at the very bottom, you can see the monster's mate? Question mark. Yay, we already got porn bots.
What?
Big one.
They're on your channel, not mine.
Psych. Yeah, look how the sets, of course, are absolutely fantastic. I think Jeff was pointing out those gigantic French windows. And
Dude, look, is that like a mantle over the fireplace? That whole wall is badass.
of course. And the sets in these movies, of course, are always fantastic, especially the ones that are directly inspired by the German Expressionist horror movies. It's important to remember that the early Universal monster movies, they're American versions of German horror films.
How beautifully dramatic. The cruelest, savage exhibition of nature at her worst without. And we three. We elegant three within. I should like to think that an irate Jehovah was pointing those arrows of lightning directly at my head, the unbowed head of George Gordon Lord Byron, England's greatest sinner. But I cannot flatter myself to that extent. possibly those thunders of our dear Shelley. Heaven's applause for England's greatest poet.
What of my Mary?
She is an angel.
Oh, yeah, she sure is. I'm sorry, guys. I got a thing for Elsa.
You think so?
You hear? Come, Mary. Come and watch the storm.
You know how lightning alarms me. Shelley, darling, will you please light these candles for me?
Oh, I'll light your candle, honey.
Man.
Oh, interesting little detail here.
The candles are already lit. That's the
yeah.
interesting detail.
Yes. No, I just love this story. When the costume designer was creating the costume for Elsa Lanchester's Mary Shelley, Whale asked that there be little moons and little stars sewn into the dress. And so the seamstress told him, well, look, that's not going to turn up on film. That's not going to show up on camera. Like, nobody's going to know that they're even there. And he said, I'll know. That tells you the kind of guy that James Whale was. He was also very flamboyantly gay in a time where, like, it really was not acceptable. So he gave zero fucks.
Hey, darling.
Astonishing creature.
Aye, Lord Byron.
Oh, yeah. Give me that look, baby.
Frightened of thunder, fearful of the dark, and yet you have written a tale that sent my blood into icy creeps. Look at her, Shelley. Can you believe that bland and lovely brow conceived of Frankenstein? A monster created from cadavers
Rifled graves.
out of rifled graves? Isn't it astonishing?
I don't know why you should think so. What do you expect? Such an audience needs something stronger than a pretty little love story. So why shouldn't I write of monsters?
No wonder Murray's refused to publish the book. He says his reading public would be too shocked.
It will be published, I think.
Too much.
Then,
Too
darling,
much.
you will have much to answer for.
The publishers did not see that my purpose was to write a moral lesson. The punishment that befell a mortal man who dared to emulate God.
Now, that's what we call insurance right there. Because fact of the matter is, Mary Shelley and Percy Shelley were both atheists.
Well, whatever your purpose may have been, my dear, I take great relish in savoring each separate horror.
But remember, this came out like in 1935.
I roll them over on my tongue.
Don't, Lord Byron.
Yeah, you do.
Don't remind me of it tonight.
What a setting in that church.
And that's the other thing that's odd about this scene, because it seems to be like it's that night, but then it's already happened.
Yeah.
So this isn't that night. This is a night that's basically giving them a flashback to that night.
Right.
When they were all inspired to take up writing their own ghastly little versions of a German horror story.
It's bleeding.
There. I do think it a shame, Mary, to end your story quite so suddenly.
Yeah, she just gave like a rundown of the events of the previous film.
That wasn't the end at all.
Oh, really? I think we have a sequel on our hands.
Would you like to hear what happened after that? I feel like telling it. It's a perfect night for mystery and horror. The air
Man,
itself.
those guys are both creepy on her.
Well, they did believe in free love, all three of them, so.
I'm all ears. While heaven blasts the night without, open up your pits of hell.
Well then, imagine yourself standing by the wreckage of the mill. The fire is dying down. Soon.
And there's the burning windmill from the previous film. Now, what did you guys think of this of Bride of Frankenstein? Just your general impressions before we go any deeper.
Well, I didn't think as much as you did, because I didn't have like the history. I didn't have like the backstory of these actual characters.
You shouldn't have to.
Well, no, but so what? I guess I'm saying that so that I can say the acting was over the top. The rolling R's and this whole posing for like, you know, a painting of everyone signing the Constitution, you know.
Yes.
It's like and that dude loves himself some of himself.
Oh yeah, well he's playing Byron. If you know anything about Byron,
that's the whole thing. I'm like, that's all I know is
thing.
that he loves himself, and I'm like, So you know more about him than I do. All I know is he can't get enough of himself.
Oh yeah.
And then then it comes to like every one of these scenes, I've got something, especially with the gypsies. But like he goes to is it Shelley goes to touch? Is that his sister or something? I mean,
no, that's Mary Shelley. That's his
Mary Shelley, and then Byron. Who's the other guy? That guy.
That's Shelley. That's
Okay.
Percy Shelley. Bysshe Shelley, who was at that moment one of the most famous, if not the most famous poet in
No
England.
relation, though, right? Because that would be weird.
No. She was actually at that time Mary Wollstonecraft.
Okay.
And that's why her full name is Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley.
Yeah.
They weren't married at that time. I think they were married afterward. And then, but briefly, because then
yeah, you
Percy,
said free love, and I'm like, I hope
drowned.
this isn't like a Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia type thing.
No.
Caution to the wind.
I mean, understand that Mary Wollstonecraft, Mary Shelley's mother, had written a book called, had written an essay, Vindication on the Rights of Women.
Okay.
And her father was also a believer in the vindication of women and also free love. But then when she took up with Percy, he pitched a conniption fit.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't exactly practice what he preached. Is what I'm saying. Oh God, look at that lovely profile.
So what he bumps into her and pricks her finger. It's just like a couple of dabs of the handkerchief, and everything's okay. I thought that was kind of
cute
funny
as a
too.
button, didn't she?
Yeah, boy.
Brian's over there going, damn, is he?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, look, and you got to understand that, I've got pictures, posters. My favorite one of Elsa is actually in my bathroom. And it's,
what?
It's a picture. It's a picture of her checking her makeup. In a little compact with a little mirror.
Yeah.
Right. So it looks like the Bride of Frankenstein is like, checking her makeup.
That's
it's
cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. But Matt, what was your general impression going into this? I hope I didn't overhype it.
No, to me, it's almost like a different, in some ways, a different genre than the first one.
Right.
I think this one brings a little more almost fantastical elements to it.
Yep.
A little more humor, a little more retrospective in the intro to Mary Shelley. You're getting a little more insight into the writer, so they're having fun with that. And then she's talking about, I got a new story for you. So I thought that was cool. I also just like all the iconography in here, man. Just the stuff that we've grown up with to love. I do wish that she was in the movie more. I know that's what a lot of people like, that she's just at the end, but I kind of wish that we got her little more halfway through the movie. Might have been pretty cool. But yeah,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, just funny seeing like all the different tropes, like Falbluca and Gene Hackman. You know what I mean? Coming from her, and the blind man. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah.
A Young Frankenstein, one of the things that's interesting about that movie is people love that movie and they've never seen the movies that inspired it.
Right.
The main movie, I mean, that it does reference this film, but it more so references Son of Frankenstein, which was the third movie in the cycle.
But yeah, man, I thought it was cool, and I he's probably my favorite character in here.
Ernest Thesiger.
Yeah, he's just like he's like the teacher to Frankenstein, Dr. Victor Frankenstein, right? And he's come back to kind of cash in, or not cash in, but kind of try to make his own Prometheus, if you will.
Well,
and,
he wants to collaborate.
Collab, and he's got his own little means with his little jars, which I thought was kind of cute. The style of effects that they were doing back then with the different emotions
his
per jar.
Homunculi.
Yeah, his homunculi, and
then
that was kind of the fantastic edge to it. You know what I mean? And just seeing Karloff going around, like kind of smashing stuff up, seeing him physically acting. Like I'm a big proponent of watching the actor get real, like move around real quick. Like you'll see these Hammer movies and the Universal movies and a lot of these movies, a lot of times the actors would just get real aggressive sometimes and real energetic in their performances of doing their own stunts. You know, like you see Christopher Lee, for example, run up and jump over a table and like tackle some dude in Dracula's throne room. In here you see Karloff just kind of grabbing people and throwing them, and then when they do the stunt where they like kind of put him in that crucifixion thing, you know, and they bring him down, you know, like that was it looked like that was Karloff doing his own stunts.
I guarantee you it was absolutely, because he was a notorious trooper. Yeah,
dude. And for me, that unfortunately, I'm not just watching the movie when I'm watching this. All this stuff's going into my head as I'm digesting it, and I cannot keep it out of my head as I'm watching it, you know. But other than that, to be honest, I like Frankenstein more. That one's my favorite one out of the Karloff Frankenstein films. I like the first one, dude. I love that one where he comes on screen, you first see him. To me, that's pretty scary.
It's one of the great horror film entrances of all time. The
and
way
hers
that
is
he
epic
backs
too.
into the room, and then
it's scary.
turns. Yeah, it's spooky. It's spooky as hell. Ernest Thesiger, he plays Dr. Pretorius in this, who is, I think, in many ways a stand-in for James Whale himself. And he was a guy that he knew from like the British theater world, because that's where James Whale got his start, was in theater in London. And in this, Pretorius is very much kind of like a decadent aesthete, if that makes any sense. That's to say, he's like an Oscar Wildean kind of a character. Who really is not only not pious, he is quite in the opposite direction. And this is a moment where after he shows up, like Frankenstein, it turns out survives, having been thrown from the burning windmill. He is spirited back to Castle Frankenstein, where it turns out he's not dead after all. He lives. And Thesiger's character, Dr. Pretorius, shows up to show him his experiments with homunculuses. Homunculuses were creatures that were talked about in occult texts, specifically alchemical texts. That I think Paracelsus, for instance, talked about having created homunculi. They're usually created with like a drop of blood or semen, one or the other, and you kind of like grow like this little creature from it. And he actually grew like these little tiny humans, and
sounds like a sea monkey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is one of the most famous moments and one of the most famous scenes in the film and in all of horror film history, where he raises a glass of gin, which he insists is his only weakness, and says, "To a new world of gods and monsters," a line that has been referenced and used over and over and over again. And it doesn't come from the novel. It comes from this film specifically. Let's take a look at the homunculi, as a matter of fact.
What's up, ID Crisis? What's happening?
Oh, what up, ID? Man? What up, dude?
Wait, I was just watching the other horror show.
What other horror show? There's no horror show but this, man.
The Fetterman Dr. Oz debate.
Oh, fuck.
Oh. How did that go? Is that a massacre?
Dude, I'm telling you, there was a point, and this is probably bad, a bad look, but I'm like, I almost want Fetterman to win because I want more of that on camera. It's such a...
What, did he just go completely like beast
mode? Dude, he
something?
like the very first thing that came out of his mouth was hi, literally, hi, good night, everyone.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Well, his wife is going to be running things anyway, from what I understand.
Oh yeah, he's not. He's basically just like literally big enough for her to just get inside and work like a puppet.
So wait, so
He suffered a stroke.
So the trend
and never dropped out of the campaign.
not all there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, neither is
Yeah.
our president. So
Okay, and that's the thing. I'm like, how much more of this like brain not work stuff do you want to be having? That's what the whole thing sounded like. Oh, exactly. I support fracking. I don't like. It was like that Katy Perry thing. Anybody see that earlier today? She kept touching her temple because her right eye was closing on its own in the middle of a show. And I don't mean like her eyelash glue stuck because she blinked and one eye opened. I mean, just the one that just went. And then I could hear that Windows music, bling, 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 bling. It's like she's like rebooting this part of her head. It was
holy shit.
I know we're in so much trouble. Jesus,
we
come
are.
back.
Yeah,
Please.
I remember there was a video where you had Justin Bieber where something similar was happening to him because he had
Bell's palsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, of course, no, you can't sue that company, even though your face is your living, and now it doesn't work.
Oh my God! And so that's like from the jab.
Well, we don't know because but I've never
They won't say.
No, of course.
Yeah. Let's take.
Anyways, this is what we all need. Look, it's John Fetterman right in front of me.
Yeah, they never do medical testing on women. When I saw that casket, I was like, because I've never seen this before until later when I found out I actually did see it, but I didn't know what I was watching. I thought, this is how undereducated I am as far as this movie goes and Frankenstein. I thought I was watching Frankenstein because I saw the gypsy part. I saw the gypsy part because I came in like halfway. I'm like, what is this? I knew what it was when I was watching it, but I didn't know what movie it was from. And so I'm like way uneducated. I don't deserve to be immediately underneath you.
What?
I need to be somewhere.
No.
So,
No.
Anyway, the point is, like, I saw that and I'm like, is he gonna pull a baby out of there?
I know, right?
So
yeah, like, is this movie gonna go that hardcore that fast? No. First of all, just because I know more about horror films and horror history and all that stuff, that doesn't make my opinion matter more than anybody else's, right? No. That's why I also like to get the opinions of people that are going into these films cold, right? Mm-hmm. And because that's how you find out if the stuff really still works or not.
Right.
And if what you have is dated or if what you have is immortal. Right? Night of the Living Dead, for instance. I saw that with a audience full of, 20 and 30 somethings, and they were nailed to their seats.
Oh, really?
Yes. Cool. And that was wonderful. Was wonderful to see. But of course, they're also the kind of people, just because they're there, they're the kind of people that aren't going to for instance, have a problem watching a black and white film, because most normies won't even watch a black and white film.
Nah.
That's why they started colorizing them in the 80s, very poorly, I might add.
Yeah.
Because they figured, if we make it in color, then maybe people will actually still want to watch these movies. And I wasn't as against it as some of the people were. And there was a Senate hearing, and Martin Scorsese and some other people were like, "This is bullshit." To me, I was just like, "Well, what do you care? Because the original movie is still going to be there."
Right.
Yeah. Right. So the way I looked at it was, if this technology actually works, I'll have one more way of watching my favorite movies.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You have it on reel to reel.
Right.
You have it on video cassette, laser disc.
Now, do I think?
DVD.
Right. Do I think a flexi disc, 8-track? Do I think that it was a good idea for Richard P. Rubenstein to drop $2 million to retrofit Dawn of the Dead for 3D? No. Didn't
I never even knew that happened.
Yeah,
me neither.
It's the reason why there's no Blu-ray release of Dawn of the Dead here in America, right? So Did I ask for it? No. Did I want it? No. Would I go watch it? Fuck yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
A lot of times,
it didn't occur to me that I would want to see it until somebody actually did that.
Did it? Yeah. Like, would I watch that? Yeah.
That Midnight Meat Train, man. That 3D worked in that one. Sometimes the 3D don't work that good.
I remember, and Dave probably remembers this too.
It doesn't work when you're trying to reproduce too much realistic, which creates the uncanny valley effect. But when you're just trying to enjoy it as a cartoon, like you're not trying to reproduce a realistic eyes, even there, like in some movies they try to reproduce a realistic eye within a cartoon. That creates uncanny valley. As soon as your brain is trying to recognize if it's real or not, you're ruining the process. That's what uncanny valley is all about.
Yep.
So
exactly.
We had an event. It was like I think it was like a local Metro Buffalo event where they played.
They did the creature
from the Black Lagoon, and they're like, "Okay, everybody."
We talked about that at the show before yours, or at least we talked about it before you came on the last time.
Okay, you guys already covered that with the red shift and everything.
Yeah.
Well, in 1984, I think it was, or somewhere about that time, there
that
was
was
a brief 3D revival. That is, that was when we got Friday the 13th Part 3D, and everything
3D.
was like Jaws 3D, right?
Yeah,
and
well, it's just like every other special effect or like computer graphics. They started relying on that gimmick instead of actually making a good movie, which is why Jaws 3 sucks.
It's a gimmick, 3D, which in my opinion should be reserved for like horror movies and porn. Right? Because then it makes sense. I could
Yeah, well, I guess it depends on
the new 3D
because it's coming out right at you, and I don't know
exactly.
Maybe sword and sorcery or fantasy.
I do remember. Yeah, I do remember there was a trombone shot.
When I've seen 3D in a theater, it always worked best with animated films.
Yeah, Beowulf was good. That's another one that worked pretty good.
Coraline looked amazing. Yeah, actually did create a sense of depth where you could see from inside a house, and then there was a window, and there was a light outside of the window, and you could see it off in the distance.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, that's pretty neat. That's pretty cool. It's still a gimmick, of course.
I watched Tron Legacy in 3D, which wasn't that good because it was dark to begin with, and the glasses made it darker.
Yes.
And you couldn't watch it without them because then you're trapped behind those glasses unless you want to see. It was like blurry or something.
Right. That is the main problem with the new 3D process is that it does make your image 20% darker.
Yeah.
Jeffrey
Amazing
Katzenberg.
Spider-Man was the same way.
The Last Action Hero.
Great. I'm sorry, what you say?
I saw The Last Action Hero, and there was a 3D version.
Oh, no,
there was.
And
I like that movie. I don't care what other people say.
I remember because I remember going to theater, putting the glasses on like it was the classic, one. And the reason it's because the freaking bomb would come out of the theater, out of the screen when when he throws the dynamite and it goes into the theater. It goes out of the screen. He would do the same thing. Like I remember it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the stick of dynamite. Yeah.
Soundtrack was great. I played two
awesome.
songs off of that for Lydia the other night.
Shane Black,
my stepdaughter.
The
Angry Again.
Angry Again. Yeah, Megadeth.
Big Gun.
99 Ways to Die.
The Dread 3D looked great in 3D.
Which one was that?
Slow-mo, right?
Especially when they were doing the drug, the slow-mo.
Yeah,
bro.
okay.
All the stuff that you see like floating through the air, right?
Yeah.
Or when Mama is sitting
so
in her bath and she kind of throws her hand up and it's like watching
it's like
the water
drip
splashing through the air. Yeah, that all looked absolutely fantastic. Great. Of course, that's what sank that movie at the box office was they only released it in 3D.
That's true.
And people forget it wasn't released as Dread. It was released as Dread 3D.
I did not know that. I bought it. I owned it because I saw it one time and I was like, wow, this.
I remember.
The cool thing about it was that the entire movie took place in just one of those buildings.
Yep.
And
I remember there was a movie with the guy from Supernatural. I think it was Valentine's 3D, wasn't it? It was a remake.
Yeah, My Bloody Valentine 3D.
My Bloody Valentine. Yeah,
I have that.
It was. I remember the effect of the axe when he turns around. Like it was one of the best made freaking. Like he actually came at you.
They
That's
made
what
that movie for 3D. So
That's
these
what I'm
movies that they
saying.
make for 3D, they're always going to be better. A lot of them would do the post-production retrofitted 3D, which would come out as dog shit. Like they did that with Conan, you know, the Marcus Nispel one with Momoa.
Yep.
That sucked. If you
Did any of
retrofit
you guys
it
saw
Voyage
that
of the
little-
Dawn
again, do it, it's
Treader,
better.
which was
Did any of
shit.
you guys saw that little short Arnold Schwarzenegger? I think it was for Terminator 2. They made a little short video that was
Yeah, where it's getting
They show
made.
that in movies.
That was fucking awesome. Like he turned around, takes the gun out. The gun out looked like the arm was out of the freaking screen. It was really well made. And you had those little robots flying around. They're like, oh
man.
shit.
Wasn't that like a thing that they had, like an installation at the Universal Studios or something?
I don't know. I mean, I saw it here in Canada.
Oh, maybe it was.
Okay.
You're in Canada?
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, quick 3D
Cool.
story.
Yeah, it's the World Wide Web.
There's a movie called Hondo with John Wayne. And
Yeah.
it was one of the main inspirations for Mad Max 2, actually.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where the Duke is fighting a Native American dude. They're having a knife fight.
A Jewish guy.
I'm sorry?
Okay.
No, they just always
Hot take on its way in.
they
Just
just
letting you know,
they usually
personal
employ-
experience. This is
they
what it
usually
happens.
employ Jewish people for the Indian stuff back in the
Yes.
day.
No, it's true. It's true. or Italian brothers, too.
Yeah,
Right.
Mel Brooks.
Let's not
Blazing
talk
Saddles.
about. Yeah.
But there's a scene
Wasn't gay.
in that scene, like you forget that the movie was made in 3D until they're having the knife fight and you see them doing this.
Yeah, right.
Ah,
Yeah, which I found, it's pretty
That bums me out.
pretty amusing. But let's take a look at Ernest here. Like, oh shit, what's he got in there? It can't possibly be good.
A baby.
his face is so
Okay,
EC
baby.
Comics.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
My
I was gonna
experiments
say,
did
he
not
looks
turn
like a
out
Bertie
quite
Wrightson
like
image.
yours, Henry.
Well, don't forget that these movies were also a big inspiration on the EC Comics. I mean,
Oh,
and
for
just,
sure.
and just horror comics in general, all the way up to
Yeah.
like the Marvel Monster comics.
Science, like love, has her little surprises, as you shall see.
Good heavens, Doctor. What are these?
There is a pleasing variety about my exhibits. My first experiment was so lovely that we made her a queen.
That's his wife.
Charming, don't you think? Then, of course, we had to have a king. Now he's so madly in love with her that we have to segregate them. Now, I have to be very careful with the king. Now behave. My next production looked so disapprovingly at the other two that they made him an archbishop. He seems to be asleep. I must wake him up.
Wake up, motherfucker!
As the next one.
Throws up some Pope signs.
well, here you could see like a certain contempt for organized religion.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
And conventional morals and conventional mores, right? Which we also got at the very beginning of the film. Although, Mary Shelley in that opening scene pays lip service to God, and that's basically so the movie wouldn't get banned by the Hays Code.
Is the very devil. Very bizarre, this little chap. There's a certain resemblance to me, don't you think?
Now look at these special effects. Look fantastic.
Yeah, they do. I
thought the acting was a lot better.
Well,
the acting was actually a lot better in this than some of the other older movies that you've.
Oh yeah, well
watch.
We're talking about James Whale here. We're talking about James Whale, who was a visionary and worked with a lot of the actors that he worked with in the British theater world, like Colin Clive and like Ernest Thesiger here.
Or do I flatter myself? I took a great deal of pains with him. Sometimes I have wondered whether life wouldn't be much more amusing if we were all devils, and no nonsense about angels and being good.
Did you guys catch that line?
Actually, no.
Let's listen to it again.
Okay.
I was looking at Burger King.
Whether life wouldn't be much more a resemblance to me, don't you think? Or do I flatter myself? I took a great deal of pains with him. Sometimes I have wondered whether life wouldn't be much more amusing if we were all devils. And no nonsense about angels and being good.
Yeah, if we didn't have to worry about consequences for our actions, eternal consequences.
Absolutely. So he's created these creatures, but he needs Henry's help because his problem is that he can create life, but he can't make it on a substantial size.
Mm-hmm.
Even says, like, size is the issue. It's like, I can make these little creatures. You made a big one.
Yeah.
Why don't we jam? Why don't we collaborate? Now, of course, Henry wants nothing to do with this. He realizes that he fucked up. He realizes that he committed a sin against God and man alike. So, you know, what's Dr. Pretorius going to really do other than find some way to get leverage over him? And that's, of course, when he kidnaps Elizabeth. But first, of course, he needs the monster to do that. Now, Karloff said, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts about this, because Karloff said that he always felt that the monster should never speak. I couldn't agree with him. I couldn't disagree with him more.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Personally.
His performance in Frankenstein is terrific.
Yeah.
But his performance in this, I think, is transcending. I think it's lit from within. I think that he plays this character with a great deal of tenderness and care. And he really did care about this character very much. That's why he didn't want to play him in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, because he felt like they were going to make fun of the character, that they were going to make sport of him. And he didn't want to see this character, whom he, like I said, he cared very deeply about, dragged through the mud and made fun of. And then, of course, the funny thing is that that wouldn't have happened, because the thing that makes that the best horror comedy ever is that the monsters are played completely straight.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is where, I mean, you always feel some sympathy for the monster, but in this, it goes all out. He's getting chased down. He's getting persecuted. He's getting shot. These goons gang up on him, beat the crap out of him with clubs and axe handles, and then they tie him up.
Burning from the first time.
Yeah, and he's already been burnt up. Like, you notice also, some people miss this. You notice the scorched hair.
Yep.
And the eyebrows are missing.
Yeah.
Right? So he can take a look at it and keep on ticking, and that's his problem.
He spoke in the book. He had dialogue in the book.
Dude, yeah.
He's brilliant.
So I don't know why, like, Karloff would want to depart from the book.
He just felt that it was like a pantomime performance that he was doing in the first film, and he kind of thought that was the way to go. Now, my hope as a child when I saw this was that, oh crap, this is awesome.
Yeah.
In the Son of Frankenstein, maybe we'll get to see him be Shelley's monster. That maybe he'll evolve, and because the idea that I had, and this could also have been originally the plan, is in the first film he's an infant, right? So he can't even talk. In this, he's a child, not a toddler almost, right?
Yeah.
But going into like a teenage stage maybe, and then in Son of Frankenstein, I was hoping that's when he would be Shelley's monster,
right?
the one that would quote Milton. The one that read The Sorrows of Young Werther and the Bible and Paradise Lost and all that stuff. The one who was actually quite eloquent.
Yeah.
That dude reminds me of Tommy Chung.
He's always smoking.
Now,
Chung.
Now, I have a massive collection of Frankenstein stuff, and that includes thousands of images that I found online. This is one that I especially like because you look at the manner of his dress, you look at the pose, right?
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, there he is. Now he's Shelley's monster.
Yeah, definitely.
But unfortunately, of
Yeah,
course,
he'd be a lot more dangerous if he was crafty.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's why I like the Brana one a lot. What it is.
Yeah, I'm like, one of the things, of course, I always do is I look for movie posters and that sort of a thing. This is Bruce Timm's version.
Is that Bruce Timm right there?
Of The Bride, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, isn't that beautiful?
I love Bruce Timm's art.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
He's a boss. Of course, this is an image from the monster from the first film when he meets Maria, the little girl that he drowns in the lake. But to say that this film has captivated the imagination of many is an understatement, because if you do a search for Bride of Frankenstein online and you click the image tab, you are going to see a lot of posters and toys and merchandise, and also
It was the first female monster.
Yeah, very much so. And the thing that astounds me is that she's only on screen for 4 minutes, maybe, if even that, and yet that was enough to solidify her as a horror icon. There's this scene, of course, where they capture the monster and they put him in this dungeon after they're done beating on him. And this is where you start to see like that German expressionist architecture. If you know what I'm talking about, like all like the vaulted ceilings and the sharp angles.
Angle right there.
Yep.
I was just taking a look at. I just put Rick Baker, Frankenstein in Google and just started going through the images.
I did the same thing with artist Koepp, if anybody's familiar with his stuff.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. And I'm telling you, that's a rabbit hole I've gone down many a time, and I have like literally thousands of images. Now, I've got a lot of Frankenstein toys. I would say probably I have more Frankenstein stuff than any other character. And one of the things I have in my collection, because I'm not going to show everything off, but one of those little toys that I love is this one right here.
Nice.
Yeah, right from that.
Right? And when you pull on this little lever that's on the back, he goes, "Arr, arr."
Oh, he pulls the stones up. That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I was like, it's like, can I really justify this? I have enough freaking toys, and I was just like, nah.
I'm starting to pick up on a pattern of why you pick the movies you pick.
Yeah, which is?
There's a toy somewhere in that room that goes along with the movie. And you're like, I'm going to show off this. I mean, we're going to watch this movie.
It's more a love for the movies that I just happen to have toys.
Yeah, right. Just happen to.
A lot of toys.
So he escapes. He busts out. Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos, and we get this scene of the blind man, played by Opie Heggie. This is a character that's from the original novel, and this isn't a direct scene from that novel, but it kind of takes that chapter and kind of condenses it in a respect.
I think Gene Hackman did it better only because I saw him do it first.
There you go. Well, trust me, when you are a classic Frankenstein, Universal Frankenstein stan like I am, that scene is 100,000 times funnier because it's blasphemous.
Yeah.
It's blasphemous.
Hilarious. It's like the funniest scene in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, what I love about that film is that it's coming from a place of love.
Yeah,
totally. Sure.
You can always tell when somebody's mocking something, and when somebody's like busting balls, but they're doing it from a place of love. It's the same way you mock your enemies, you tease your friends.
Right.
I love Spaceball so much.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about High Anxiety, and I still think that's his best one.
High Anxiety, yeah, his Hitchcock homage.
Right. I like Blazing Saddles the best. I don't know if that makes me bad.
No,
Yes.
No, Blazing Saddle's great.
Yeah,
Blazing
that's a good
I
Saddles
think
is-
it. Somebody
Blazing
has to
Saddles is
say
awesome.
it. Somebody has to say it, Jeff. I do think it makes you look bad.
I like History of the World. That's my favorite.
Oh,
I've never made it through that one.
History of the World's pretty goddamn great.
I gotta get through that one. But
It has
no,
its moments.
everyone's fine. Jeff is fine too.
I keep I never made it through History of the World. As soon as she drops her dress, I'm like, what?
Okay, sorry.
The sounds the things are making is
Those little squeaky sounds, yeah.
they just pantomime to each other.
Yeah. And they just do these like squeaky little jabbering sounds. Whale wasn't really interested in doing a sequel, and the way that they wanted him badly because Frankenstein was such an incredible, no pun intended, monstrous hit. One of my favorite stories about the premiere of Frankenstein in 1932 was that Whale was in his hotel room, and the phone rang at 3:00 in the morning, and it was a critic who had screened the film earlier, and he said, "Look, man, I can't. If I'm not getting to sleep tonight, you're not getting to sleep tonight."
Right.
Now, I mean, can you imagine like a better compliment than that?
Yeah,
It's like,
that's
thanks
awesome,
for
man.
scaring the living shit out of me, dude.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it is. I don't know if you saw my message in the group earlier, but I got through a little bit of it, and then I had to go to bed. And then when I tried to bring it up on Tubi, it was gone.
which one?
This movie, I was trying to finish it. So whoever was watching it this week, like Jeff, I think they pulled it the day after he finished it.
This is
Because
why
I went to finish it, and I was like, all I could find was like The Bride and something else, and I was like, well, what happened?
I might need to go in there and watch Frankenstein at night before they yank the car lock.
But yeah, well, I mean, that's why I pounced on this so fast. When I saw that they had this, I was like, boom.
I don't think they don't really tell you when it's going to go.
Absolutely.
Nah, not really.
So let's take a look at this scene. I'll be honest. I will not watch this movie with a woman. Girlfriends know. All my girlfriends have known that, like, this is my favorite movie. And they're like, oh, you got all this Bride of Frankenstein stuff. Let's watch it together. I'm like, nope. Why not? Because I'm going to cry like a little bitch. That's why. And one of the rules in a relationship is never cry in front of a woman. Okay?
I think it depends on what it's.
That shit.
Yeah.
They'll tell you that they do, but if they see it, they're going to be like, oh, this guy's weak.
No is yes.
Well, it's womanese. It's womanese.
Yeah, right.
Don't fall for that shit, guys. Don't fall for it. They don't want us. They don't believe that they want what they tell you they want. They don't know what they want.
Nope, they don't want to know your problems either.
And now
That's the first thing my mom told me.
Yeah.
Well,
There you go. Oh man, that's good advice.
I know, right?
Yeah, it is. Wish my mom had told me that shit.
remember, this is bread.
So what makes this scene so touching is that for the first time, the monster is being shown some kind of tenderness and compassion. And we see suddenly that he's not the dumb brute that we thought that he was in the first film, right? Because we just assumed that he had brain damage because of the damaged brain.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That Fritz got. And immediately in the first film, you see what happens. His mind is encoded with violence because Fritz is always torturing him, and specifically with fire because he knows he's afraid of fire. And there's that scene where he's like sticking the torch in his face, and then also I forget. No, he doesn't have a whip in that. I'm getting that from another film. But that's why he ultimately wrings fucking Fritz's neck and fucking strings him up in that cell, is because he goes from from fright to flight he goes from flight to fight is what I'm saying, right? Because he can't fly because he's just there. He's chained up in a room, and so he wrings Fritz's neck, and that's how he becomes violent. Here we get to see maybe the person that he would be if he was actually treated with kindness.
Bread.
Bread.
And this is wine to drink.
Well, they booted us off Facebook.
What'd you say, Pops?
They booted us off Facebook, all 3 channels.
No shit. Well, fuck them.
All 3.
Now watch what he drinks here. I've just always found this to be a scene that is, and this is a thing that you can only get in horror films. You can't get a feeling like this from any other genre. And that is a sense of horror and pathos at the exact same time.
Good. We are friends.
Well, watch what he what he does here, where
Try
he's
to hold it together, man.
And the wine is pouring down his chin.
Mm-hmm.
You and I, friends. Good. And now for a smoke.
This always reminds me of Mongo.
No.
No.
Just like abnormal brain. Do not use.
Smoke. You try.
Smoke.
Oh.
Smoking his first fatty.
Yeah, but also Player Bad. Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
Dank. Dank weed. Oh, great. Stream is down.
They pulled you off YouTube too.
Did they?
I think that's what Pops was trying to say.
Oh,
I
okay.
was trying to say, they see you now. You're playing too much of it.
Yeah, you got to put it on pause every couple.
But
that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. One of the things I noticed, which I thought was kind of funny, it's like a plot hole, but it's also like the constraints of the set, I guess.
Yeah.
The old guy was thanking God that he saw fit to bring him a friend. And I'm like, but they were gypsies 50 yards away. I'm like, right over there.
That didn't mean that they were hanging out with him.
I know, but he's like,
gypsies just saw him as an easy mark, the blind guy. We can take all this stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not saying that he's like, but I'm saying the gypsies, they're the dicks.
Right. And, and then there's, this is a religious moment in the film that I think is genuine. It's the one, because you see a whale really kind of mocking religion in many respects, right? Flying in the face of it.
Well, no one is beyond redemption.
They were calling out the hypocrisy of it.
The hypocrisy. Yeah. Then there's the shot of the monster looking almost like he's crucified, like Jesus. Mm-hmm. That's.
Yeah, I saw that right away. Yeah,
It's not. That's not subtle. It's not meant to be. Right.
Yeah, but they're also.
Whale was far too good of a craftsman for that to be. Him like, oh, I'll put in a little symbolism here, and nobody will notice it. It's like, no, it's a direct comparison, and that in and of itself could be seen as blasphemous in many people's eyes.
Right. But not to put too much of a point on it, but he is back from the dead.
Yes, but not like Lazarus.
Well, no, but or
he's
Christ
a walking
himself.
blasphemy. He's a walking blasphemy, is what he is. And then, of course, we see the monster weeping and consoling the old blind man. It's just a really beautiful scene. And then you'll notice the screen goes dark,
except for the cross.